My dear students of class 4, how are you? I think all of you are hale and hearty by the grace of Almighty Allah. I am also well. So dear students, welcome back to Faridpur Government Girls High School online class. Here I am your Rusel sir to conduct today's English class. My dear students, what happens in your daily life when you do some activities or you observe an event? Suppose on Durga Puja or on Eid ul Fitr, what do? You take a bath, you wear new dress, you take some special food, visit your friends and relatives and enjoy the day. What happens on your birthday? You invite your friends and relatives, you cut the birthday cake and you enjoy the day with your friends and your relatives. So these are the events in our practical life, like birthday, like Eid ul Fitr or Durga Puja, or when we visit to any important place like National Museum or any historical place, whatever it is. When we do some activity, we have to know how to describe that activity. For this reason, you have a topic on question number 11. You will get it on question number 11 in the question paper in exam hall. So our today's topic will be on that, describing event or activity. So today I will discuss about this topic, describing event or activity, and you will get this question on question number 11 in your question paper in the exam hall. So what should you do to answer this question? At first, read the question at what is written. Write 5 sentences about your morning activity. 5 sentences about your morning activity. That means what you do on in the morning on Fridays. The day is Friday, and what you do on Friday in the morning. Considering the following points, considering these 3 points or maybe 4 or 5 points. So considering these points, you have to write your morning activity on Friday. If this topic was write 5 sentences about your activity on Eid ul Fitr or Durga Puja, then the points would be some different sentences or question. If it was write 5 sentences about your morning, about your activity on your birthday, considering the following points, then these points are something different. So you have to read the question at first very carefully, then look at the following points. And you have another instruction in the third bracket. You have to read this third bracket. What is written here? Write the time in numbers. Look at this part. Write the time in numbers and activity sequence in ordinal numbers. So one is time in numbers. One is time in numbers. That is, suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is number, time in number. You have to write the time. Suppose 3 p.m. So this is time in number. And activity sequence. Sequence means the serial. Which activity has been at first and which one is second, which one is third, fourth, something other. And it should be in ordinal number. The activity sequence, that means first, second, third, it should be in ordinal number like this. Suppose firstly, secondly, thirdly, fourthly, fifthly, like this. Suppose on the religious festival, what do? We take a bath first. Second, we wear new dresses. Then third, we take some special foods. Then fourthly, we say our prayers. And fifthly, we visit our friends and relatives. And thus we enjoy the day. So this is the activity sequence in ordinal number, and this is time in number. So now I will help you, or I will show you how to answer these questions, and totally you have to answer this question number 11 in a paragraph. But if you answer this question, what will happen? When do you get up from bed? Suppose I am answering, I get up. I get up from bed. Since it is Friday, on this day, as usual, we get up late. So we can write, I get up from bed at 8:30 a.m. I get up from bed at 8:30 a.m. First question, the answer of first question is over. But second question, how many things do you do in the morning? How many things do you do? If you write, I do 3 things. I do 3 things in the morning. I do 3 things in the morning. And the last one is, what time does this activity begin? If you write that, my activity begins at, suppose 9 a.m. You have answered these 3 questions correctly, but is your answer correct? I'll say that no, your answer is totally wrong. If you write these answers, it will be totally wrong. What's the reason? The reason is that here is written, write 5 sentences, but you have written only 3 sentences. So you will get the marks of 3 sentences, not the full marks. So your marks will be reduced if you answer this 3 sentences. So you have to write something other. How can we add? How can we add? Suppose I started, I get up from bed at 8:30 a.m. But since it is on Friday, you can mention that day also. So if you want to write, suppose I am starting Friday is my holiday. Friday is my holiday, and so on this day, I get up from bed at 8:30 a.m. Now look at this sentence. Friday is my holiday, and so on this day, I get up from bed at 8:30 a.m. This sentence sounds well, and this sentence will carry a good marks for you. So don't answer only the exact answer, the short answer of the question. Add something other. So that can be the first sentence. Then, how many things do you do in the morning? I wrote, I do 3 things in the morning. Okay, this sentence can be taken. But look at this one. What time does each activity begin? That means these 3 things, 3 activities. When starts these activities? 3 activities means it starts in 3 times. So you should not write in only in this way that in the morning. You have to narrate it. So I do 3 things in the morning. Okay, I want to take this sentence. But I will change this one. My activity begins at 9 a.m. Which activity? You have written 3 things, 3 activities. My activity begins at 9 a.m. Which one? So now use the ordinal number. Use here since your 3 things, 3 activities. So start firstly or at first. Firstly, I suppose what do we do in the morning? We wash our face and we take some light foods. So we can write that. Firstly, you can use a comma here also or not, no matter. Firstly, I refresh. Firstly, I refresh myself. Firstly, I refresh myself and take my breakfast. Okay, now look at the sentence. It sounds well. Firstly, I refresh myself and take my breakfast. So this is the first activity. You have another 2 activities. Since you have written 3 things, you have another 2 activities. So firstly, then write secondly. Secondly, I go to market, suppose with your father. I go to market with my father. That may be the second activity, but have you written the time? Firstly, I refresh myself and take my breakfast. When do you take your breakfast? You have to write that time. I take my breakfast at suppose 9 a.m. 9 a.m. So then it will be correct. You have to mention the time. So firstly, I refresh myself and take my breakfast at 9 a.m. This is very simple. If you write or not, it matters, because if you write, you are following these instructions, time in numbers. If you don't write, you are not following these instructions, so your marks will be reduced. So write the time with the activity. Then secondly, I go to market with my father. When do you go? It may be about 10 a.m. suppose, with my father at 10 a.m. So your second activity is done now. Secondly, I go to market with my father at 10 a.m. Look, instruction is 5 sentences. How many sentences you have written? Count. 1, then 2, and then 3 sentences. Already 3 has been written, and you have another 2 sentences to write. You should not write more than 5 sentences. So secondly, I go to market with my father at 10 a.m. Okay, if I write thirdly, I do shopping. I do shopping. I do shopping. Suppose at 10:30 a.m. I do shopping at 10:30 a.m. If you want to enlarge the sentence with some words, you can do. And now you have written 4 sentences. You have another one. What can be? We have written firstly, we have written secondly, thirdly. Can we write here fourthly? No, because this is the 5th sentence, last sentence. So if I write fourthly, it means that you are describing something more. So conclude this sentence here. All right, finally. Finally, I come back home at suppose 11:30 a.m. So if you answer in this way, your answer will be complete and you will get a good marks, I believe. So you can write this type of sentences. So I am repeating what are the tricks to follow. In the first sentence, if I write I get up from bed at 8:30 a.m., this is a correct sentence. I get up from bed at 8:30 a.m., correct sentence. Like this one, I do shopping at 10:30 a.m. So if you write this type of short sentences, your answer will be correct. Condition is only 5 sentences. So if you write this type of short sentences, answer is correct. No matter, you will get the full marks as a student of class 4. But if you add this type of words to enlarge the sentence and to make the meaning clear and to create a well sound, if you add this type of words and write the longer sentence, it will create a good feelings in the teacher's mind about you. So if you have that ability to enlarge the sentence, you can do, or no matter, avoid this sentence. If you have not that ability, no matter, avoid that sentence and write only I get up from bed at 8:30 a.m. But I do 3 things in the morning. Then you have to describe the things according to the ordinal numbers here, sequence in ordinal numbers. This one, this. So these ordinal numbers are firstly, secondly, thirdly. You have to use these words, these ordinal words. And of course you have to use this time, 8:30, 10:30, 9 a.m., whatever it is. You have to mention the time also. So 2 things are important, mentioning the time and using the ordinal numbers, firstly, secondly, thirdly, or whatever. And in the last sentence, you should conclude using finally or at last, whatever you like. Finally or at last, these words are most common, you can use it. So dear students, this is today's class on describing your event or activity. This question, this type of question will come on question number 11 and you have to answer. And not only for answering these questions, if we know how to describe our daily activities, then we will be a fluent speaker in English, because every day we do something. Suppose today, what have you done after getting up from bed? You have done some activities. So if you can describe in this way, then you can be a fluent speaker in English. So practice describing event or activity, both in orally and in written language also. So dear students, thank you for today and see you in the next class, but this seeing will be virtual seeing. Thank you.